college students who are receiving the CSU Tuition Assistance Grant and are an active participant in either the Community for Excellence or the Academic Advancement Center. One of the things I want to talk about first off is kind of the elephant in the room, and that is education abroad during a global pandemic. So, as you probably know, international travel is highly restricted right now due to the pandemic. So a lot of borders are closed to US citizens who would want to travel. And then our border is often closed to a lot of other citizens coming to the States. So we encourage you to plan for education abroad for summer of 2021 and future semesters. We're hopeful that as a vaccine becomes available and as testing is more widely prevalent, that it might make the world more accessible starting at that time. We have had to make decisions at CSU to cancel programs. And if we have to cancel an education abroad program, our goal is to do it at least 2 to 4 months prior to departure, prior to that program's departure date. We encourage you to have a backup plan for the credits that you were hoping to receive on education abroad. And I want you to know that we do have your health and safety as our top priority. These are hard decisions for us to have to make, and so much is outside of our control at this point with the global pandemic. So if you have a current application in the education abroad system, you will receive regular notice from education abroad about the decisions that the office is making, and just to kind of keep you abreast of what's going on, keep you up to date. And we also post information on our website, and you'll see that URL listed here at the bottom of the page. So education abroad is more than just study abroad. So traditionally, we think of education abroad as study abroad, but at CSU, we have students doing their research abroad, having internships internationally, and participating in service learning and community engagement. And about 1 in 5 graduates, undergraduates, who graduate from CSU have an international experience before they graduate. And that's higher than the national average. We have worked really hard with our campus partners and with students to try to open up the world for you so that you can fit the international experience that works best for you into your academic plan and into your life. So that means that about 22% or 23% of our undergraduates are having an international experience before they graduate. And we are very proud of that fact. We want you to be part of that percentage before you graduate. There is so much that you will gain from an education abroad experience. You know, a lot of us think about the academic benefits of going abroad. So if you want to study in your major abroad, you can do that. So you can take political science courses in the Czech Republic. You can study biology in Thailand. So academically, you can really open up the world and take these courses in a different country. You might be studying a second language or refreshing your skills on another language that perhaps you learned when you were younger. And we have students going all over the world to study language. We also have students going abroad. I mentioned, studying biology in Thailand. You can go to a country where English is not the primary language and yet take your primary coursework in English while taking a Thai language class on the side, kind of a survival language class or a getting around language class. You can also study from the top researchers in the area that you're interested in while you're abroad. So this experience can really open up the academics for you. A lot A lot of what you'll gain from being abroad is going to feed back into your career goals and perhaps graduate school goals. So we know that students who study abroad kind of have a leg up or have that sort of edge when it comes to applying for jobs and going to graduate school after your undergraduate degree. This education abroad experience will give you an opportunity to exercise resiliency and flexibility, overcoming uncertainty and change, and navigating new environments. And these are all things that employers or graduate schools want to see when we graduate. I touched a little bit on the personal benefits or soft skills, and I can't emphasize enough the resiliency that our students gain when they're abroad and their ability to deal with change. And kind of their ability to see, okay, this was what I expected to happen when I was abroad, and this is what actually happened while I was abroad. And how do we navigate that? Because in life, so often we have an expectation and it doesn't always turn out the way we expected it to. And education abroad is another place to kind of exercise that skill of expectations versus reality. So all in all, you're going to gain a lot of skills for sure. And each student's experience is totally different. So we have programs, over 900 education abroad programs in over 80 countries on all 7 continents. And our CSU students are studying abroad, having their education abroad experience during all times throughout the year. So we have students going abroad for a full semester, either fall or spring. We have students who go abroad for the whole academic year or a calendar year. And then we have students who go abroad during the breaks, fall break, spring break, winter break, and summer break. So our students are having experiences that last anywhere from 1 week abroad, 9 days, to a whole 12-month calendar year and everywhere in between. So I say this just so you know that the world really is your oyster and that we have education abroad coordinators who are here to help you, to work with you, to advise you on finding a few programs that would be a good fit and then kind of narrowing those programs down. I know that if I was in your shoes right now and I saw this slide, I would feel overwhelmed. Hearing that there's over 900 programs would probably give me a bit of anxiety. Like, how am I going to narrow all these down? And that's what my job is. And that's what my peers' jobs are. So we have a team of 8 education abroad coordinators, advisors, who are here to assist you on the narrowing down process. So just to talk with you a little bit about the kinds of opportunities that are out there. So we have education abroad programs that'll allow you to go abroad with CSU students and CSU professors. We call these our staff and faculty-led programs. Both Sam and Ricky, who introduced themselves earlier, are staff leaders on these programs. So it's a small cohort of CSU students going abroad with a CSU staff or faculty member for a designated period of time. We have education abroad programs where you could meet students from all over the US who are also abroad. Not only that, you'll meet students, international students from all over the world when you're abroad. You could be on a program where you have classes with local students or just classes with international students or a mix of the two. And of course, we have internships and research abroad. And we are also the administrative hub for Semester at Sea. So Semester at Sea came to CSU about 2 or 3 years ago now. And one of the benefits of having them here is that all of the coursework that you take aboard Semester at Sea is transcripted through CSU. So there's no issue with transfer of credits. Other big benefit is that they offer a lot of scholarships to CSU students because we are the academic house or the administrative hub for Semester at Sea. So while it's generally a higher price tag program, our students, particularly students who are Pell Grant eligible, tend to get quite a bit of funding from Semester at Sea. So when you're thinking about narrowing down that huge 900 program list down to a couple of programs that you're interested in, I want you to think about these three categories. So most students at CSU would say that one or two of the categories in this Venn diagram would be of top priority to them. So some students will say, number one priority is budget. I cannot pay any more than what I am already paying at CSU as an in-state resident of the state of Colorado. And we have programs that fit that criteria. So we have programs that go abroad that cost the same price as being on campus for a semester at CSU. Other students will say, I can't fall behind with my academic coursework. I need to graduate in 4 years. And we have those programs too. So one of the things that we've done is we've worked with all of the academic departments on campus to come up with recommended program lists. So if you're a biological sciences major, we have a list of 10 to 12 programs that are a really good academic fit for biological science or political science or business administration. So when you're on our website, if you go under students, and then getting started, you'll see our recommended programs list listed there. Another thing students might be interested in is location or lifestyle. Perhaps you're a heritage seeking student whose family is from Mexico and you've never had the opportunity to go back to Mexico and experience life there as a student. Maybe in the summers you visit your grandma for a few weeks, but it would be really neat to be in Mexico City or in Puebla for a semester and have that experience. Some students who have lived in Colorado their whole life are just like, it would be so neat to live by the ocean for a few weeks or a semester. So that might be another location choice. Perhaps you want to be closer to the ocean. There are so many different reasons. Perhaps you want to have a homestay. You know that the best way to learning that second language is by being with a family or being in a home. So that might be another way to kind of narrow down your choice. So to speak a little bit about budget, I wanted to highlight this program. So this program takes place in the Czech Republic in Prague. It's called CESP. It's the Central European Studies Center for Business and Economics and Political Science. This program costs the same as in-state resident tuition plus room and board, kind of the cost of attendance for a Colorado in-state resident student for a semester. So for the commiserate amount of time, for 4 months, the semester. With this program, you would live on the CESB campus. You would have classes with international students and with Americans. You would also have classes with Czech students. This program is fairly popular with CSU students because of the cost. We tend to send about 20 students abroad per semester on this program. So you'd probably notice some other RAMs while you were there, like these 4 students that we see on the slide. So next, Ricky and I are going to share with you some stories about past Global Access Award recipients. Take it away, Ricky.
Great. Well, this is from Mohammed, who went on the semester at sea voyage. Mohammed is a graduate of both the AAC as well as C4E, so it's really special that he's able to take this trip. Mohammed had to say is, what made me want to study abroad was the opportunity to gain knowledge and to participate in other people's ways of life. Sometimes the only way to fully immerse yourself and understand our dynamic world is by being in the presence of the things we are curious about. So, thank you, Mohammed.
This is from Valeria, and Valeria went to Ghana in 2018. There was a time when I heard that the biggest regret a person had in their college career was not studying abroad, and I saw Ghana as the perfect opportunity to do so. I wasn't sure about how I was going to pay, but I knew it was going to be worth it. And then the Global Access Award came along and took some stress off my shoulders.
Great. All right, and next we have Eric, who Did a program in China in 2018. Eric is also a C4E and AAC participant. He also used to be one of our AAC tutors, so it's really special to see him take that traveling opportunity. And Eric had to say, studying abroad in China helped me step out of my comfort zone and experience a different way of life. As a first-generation student, I never thought I'd be able to experience the things I did while abroad. Looking back, I was one of the best experiences of my life. I will never forget the people I met, the places I saw, or the things I learned. Thanks, Eric.
So Aylin went to Morocco with Ricky just this past January, and she says, on the Education and Culture in Morocco program, I was able to step out of my shell and create a community with my peers while getting the opportunity to experience a new country with them. As well, it made me realize the sense of belonging that can be created with communities in other countries. I felt supported and cared for by my host family, my peers, and by the abroad program itself.
All right, and then next up we have Dominica, who went to Nicaragua in 2018. And Dominica says, Nicaragua is such a lovely place to be. My host family took me in as if I was truly one of their own. I was able to immerse into their culture by learning their way of cooking, cleaning, traditions, dancing, and so much more. The passport program lifted a huge weight off my shoulders when they granted me a free passport. Everyone within the program was genuine, supportive, and truly cared about my journey to Nicaragua. Without this team, I would have been stressed and financially concerned to doing it on my own. 5 years ago, I would have never thought I could have opportunity to study abroad. College was out of reach, making study abroad seem nearly impossible. I am forever grateful and will live through their passions of hard work and purity. Goodbye now and forever in my heart, Rams abroad. Cool. So the next part, thinking a little bit about just kind of like why we're here and how the Global Access Award can fit into this to make these opportunities a little bit more accessible for you. So thinking about financial aid and education abroad. So the Global Access Award is available for programs that you're receiving academic credit for. So you do have to be full-time status. So that means 12 credits during the semester. So if that's the fall or spring semester, or 6 credits if you're traveling during the summer. If you're thinking of doing a winter break program, those programs that travel in January are going to be included within the spring semester that comes after that program will return. So if you're planning, you can plan it out. If you only need to do 1 more credit or something like that, perfect opportunity to check out a winter break program. The kinds of scholarships that would be available for you are this next page, perfect. And happy to see that there are tons of programs and awards that are available to go towards. The thing to kind of remember is that about 90% of your awards are going to travel with you. The things that do not travel with you are going to be your work study, because you have to be able to be in Colorado to earn your work study, and the College Opportunity Fund, which is for Colorado residents. And so those are the 2 things that wouldn't travel with you. But everything else listed here that you see on the screen is something that you could put towards a potential abroad program. So if you are a tuition assistance grant receiving student, if you receive the Pell Grant, you can put loans towards these programs. And as well as the awards on the right-hand side, these are good of the C4E scholarship awards. So partnership awards, if you are a TRIO SSS partnership award, that can go towards your abroad program as well. So really some great flexibility for students to be able to fund their experiences. So the Global Access Award is really a partnership between 4 different programs: the Academic Advancement Center, the Community for Excellence, the Office of International Programs, as well as the Office of Financial Aid. So as part of this, it comes really great of being able to focus a little bit more on community and being able to highlight some of the important strengths that our students are bringing, amenities that students are bringing towards being able to take these abroad programs. So thinking about that, I'm pulling up more information here. Let's see here. Go to the next one. So a little bit about kind of like what that support looks like. So Again, the Global Access Award is available to cover up to $3,000 towards your education abroad experiences. So whether that be towards, if you're doing like even a group flight through CSU, you can put the Global Access Award towards that, and it would help fund some of that program. The requirements for it, again, are first-generation college students. You need to be eligible for the tuition assistance grant. You need to be an active participant of the Community for Excellence, or AAC. And you need to complete the Global Scholars Academy checklist requirements or participate with the Global Access Partner. So more on that last bullet point, but I do want to go towards the, bounce back towards the active participant part. So this is where it's really important to make sure that you are meeting with your retention specialist if you're an AAC student, or if you are a Community for Excellence student, that you are in good standing to receive your Community for Excellence award. So that might be a good chance to check in with your scholar contact, whether that be Sam or someone in C4E, whoever that may be, just to check and make sure with them that your participation is good. So with AAC, thanks for joining us for CLIFs. That's definitely a big part of it, meeting with your retention specialist, and that's what we're looking for active participants. For the Global Scholars Academy checklist, this connects into further requirements for the award. So as part of this award, and I mentioned thinking about the identities of students, being a first-generation student, being able to take this experience and make the most out of it, we saw that there's a lot more in terms of being able to support students that we can really provide for you. And so the Global Scholars Academy, I'm not sure if the next slide goes through it. Yeah, it does. It looks a little bit like this. So it's stuff to kind of really frame your experience to get the most out of this learning as possible. So before you're, so this is even before you do like your your application towards the program or towards scholarships and such like that, we want you to meet with the financial aid coordinator. So Cindy, who is joining us today, that's really awesome that she's here. We want you to meet with her to be able to really make great financial decisions, and so that you can have a really clear idea of what this program would cost for you and how the Global Access Award can support that. We also want you to meet with your education abroad coordinator, so someone on Vanessa's team, someone who can let you know what to expect with each different kind of program, how long you'll be gone, potential costs, what the experience will look like for you. And so really important to have that meeting so you can get a clear idea of what your experience will look like. Then you can do your applications for each. We'll talk a little bit more about the applications for financial aid, but there will be an application for your for the program as well. And then once you're into the program, you're ready to go, you're feeling excited, we have another event that we hope you can join us for, and that's called the Community Dialogue. The Community Dialogue is an opportunity for us to connect with all of our recipients. So yeah, there's a question in the chat box about how many recipients are there for the Global Access Award. It actually changes because of different, depending on who's traveling each semester. So if we do have a lot of recipients for, say, winter break awards, I think we're around within like 25, someone correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere around that kind of range from last year for the winter break programs. For some of the spring programs, depending on how many travelers we have for that, it might look a little bit smaller application pool. So depending on the recipients, it's, yeah, depending on how many people apply, really, and we can go from there. So let's see here, the community dialogue again. So when you're there, you're with all of the other recipients of the award and you're ready to go. And it's a time for us to share and to connect to say, what does it feel like to be a first generation student who's getting ready to travel abroad? If you're a student of color and you're getting ready to travel, what are your feelings and impacts within that as well? And so it's really a great opportunity just to kind of chat about it, to really kind of prepare ourselves to think about that mindset before you take on your experience. Also other requirements, pre-departure requirements that your education abroad coordinator is going to help you with. These requirements can be things like such as making sure that you turn in copies of your passport or making sure that you fill out your health and safety information. So all really important stuff throughout the process that just kind of help you out with the travel stuff. Some of my favorite like pre-departure requirements were to go through like the pre-departure travel book, where they give you information on the country that you're going to be going to, and it's really just awesome information to hear about. You know, what are customs? You know, how even things like how late do people go to bed, that kind of thing. And so things that hopefully aren't too big of a shock when you are ending up in country, that you can get a kind of a clue of what culture and society will look like. So after that, you take your program, you enjoy, you have a really great time, you do all of the coursework that's required for you in the program. And then when you return, we have another last portion for the Global Access Award Global Scholars Academy, which is the Suitcase Stories Reflection event. And so this would take place the semester after you return. So if you were to do like a winter break program, for example, you would do the Suitcase Stories in the spring semester. If you traveled in the spring, say you did semester at sea, or you traveled during the summer, say you did, a nice summer program for a month or so, then you would be able to do the Suitcase Stories event in the next fall semester. And the Suitcase Stories event is just an opportunity to come back. You might see some familiar faces with other previous awardees, maybe some folks if you've traveled with them, but it's a really great opportunity to talk about what your experience is like, how your identity was impacted, and kind of thinking about the ways and the lessons that you took from your experiences and ways that you're going to see those applied into your communities and stuff here at home. And so again, just kind of something to help wrap up the experience, to really give you an opportunity to reflect on those. I know that for myself, sometimes you're in a really exciting experience and you want to share that with people, but when you get home, you're just kind of feeling it's a little bit different. Like, I really wish you were there, that I could talk to you about these things, whether that's be with family or friends or something like that. But a Suitcase Stories event really gives an opportunity to share that again, to really say, you know what, this is something that's kind of been on my mind, and it reminds me of Morocco. It reminds me of something that happened, and I want us to talk about it. So really great event, and really hope you can join us for that when you returned. Cool. And that's the Global Scholars Academy. That's it. That's the entire thing. So looking into next part here, some award application deadlines. So the Global Access Award application is part of the Education Abroad Scholarship Common application. So it's all part of the same thing. So the next line that we're looking into is for the spring or the calendar year. So if you're thinking of traveling for the full year, it's going to be October 15th. So kind of thinking about that time frame, think about what you need to get done, making sure you get scheduled an Education Abroad meeting along with financial aid, all before October 14th or 15th, well, probably 14th. So on this Education Abroad Common Scholarship application, I got to say, it's a very it's a great application to have to go through. There's about 4 essays that you complete, just to give us an idea of your interest and your passions within being able to travel abroad and what you're hoping to get from the experiences. And so we really love to hear from you. We really want to hear thoughtful ideas from you, and so that we can hopefully get some awards out to you. There are other awards that are in that Common Scholarship application, so it is possible that you could receive more than one scholarship just by completing that Common application. Also, additional note is that if you are completing that application, please make sure that you are clicking the box that asks if you are a C4E or AAC student. That's how we are going to know if you are eligible for the GAA. Please make sure that you are clicking that box, and so that we can keep your mind as we're deciding awarding there. Great. Let's see here. Just kind of like as a note, looking like last year, over $600,000 in scholarships awarded to CSU students going abroad. I think that's a pretty fun fact. And that's all through like this same application. So that's, for me to hear. Cool.
I can share a little bit about these other scholarships that are out there. So Global Access Award is an amazing scholarship at $3,000. And there are so many more opportunities for you to apply for other scholarships. You can see the website listed there at the top of the page, but again, it's going to students and then getting started and then clicking on scholarships. So through OIP stands for the Office of International Programs. We have need, merit, and disability-based scholarships, and they're all applied for through the Education Abroad Scholarship Common Application that Ricky just mentioned earlier. So they're an example of other scholarships that you'll be applying for just by virtue of applying for GAA. You'll be thrown in the running for those 3 categories for this first bullet point. CSU does have a passport scholarship, which is a pretty neat thing. Last fall of 2019, the Education Abroad Office became a passport acceptance office. So I am now a certified passport acceptance facilitator or whatever. I have a certificate, it hangs in my office. And so everybody on the Education Abroad team can receive a passport application from you. But not this semester. Because of the pandemic and social distancing, we're not able to have our passport acceptance facility open this semester. We did just finish up the round of awarding passport scholarships for fall. The deadline was September 9th, and applicants who received the award were notified late last week or possibly over the weekend. So if you did apply, you should have received notice by now. And what that passport scholarship is, it's $175 to cover the passport application fee and to cover the cost of your pictures. So this year we had 1 round of funding in fall, and hopefully next year in fall 21, if funding is still working, we'll have another round for the passport scholarship. Application for that is also on our website. So you'd see that there under getting started and then scholarships. The Gilman Scholarship Award is a nationally competitive scholarship for Pell Grant eligible students. So at CSU, we offer workshops throughout the semester where we help students with their Gilman Scholarship essay. So they do put quite a bit of weight on the essay, and we want to help students articulate their story in a way that would help them kind of rise to the top with that nationally competitive scholarship. So because of those workshops and because students come and we work together on the essay cultivation, about 50% of students at CSU who apply for Gilman get the scholarship. That's pretty awesome for a nationally competitive scholarship. And the dollar amounts on that scholarship, Cindy may have to correct me if I'm wrong. Cindy is our financial aid representative, but I think they're maybe around $2,500 to $4,000, maybe somewhere in that range. So it's kind of a larger dollar amount. Earlier, I mentioned about diversity. Oh, no, I did not mention Diversity Abroad. So CSU is a member of Diversity Abroad, which is a national coalition of education abroad professionals like myself, and they also offer scholarships. So I'd want you to take a look at those. I mentioned earlier about Semester at Sea scholarships. So definitely, if you're interested in Semester at Sea, I want you to be applying for their scholarships. And then also at CSU, our departments and offices offer scholarships as well. So they are all on the website. Please check them out. Please apply early and often for these scholarships. So Ricky mentioned that as part of the requirements for Global Access Award, you need to have 2 meetings prior to the requirements deadline. So the next application cycle that's coming up is spring, and the deadlines for the meetings for spring is October 1st, and the deadline for the EA Common Scholarship application is October 15th. So you'll notice with most semester, there's about a 15-day difference between the deadline for the meeting and the deadline for the EA Common Scholarship application. So with these meetings, you have to have 2, one with financial aid, that's Cindy Maris, and then one with the Education Abroad coordinator for the region of the world that you're going to or the program that you're going to be on. So we now in Education Abroad and with Cindy, we are allowing you to schedule with us through Navigate, which is CSU's online scheduling system. So if you go to our homepage, you can kind of see the path listed here on the screen. So just go to About and then Contact Education Abroad. You can schedule with both Cindy and or the Education Abroad Coordinator for your region. And if you have any questions at any point in time, we've got some email addresses there as well. So I've been talking to you about this team of folks that are here to help you out from Education Abroad and Cindy. So here's some pictures of our staff. You'll notice that the Education Abroad staff are broken down by either region of the world or the program that they facilitate. You don't need to remember who does what. When you go to navigate, all you have to be able to say is, I'm interested in Eastern Europe. And so you'll select advising for Eastern Europe, and then the system will make an appointment for you to meet with Marie Schaller in that case. So Education Abroad is located on the oval, kind of in the northeastern section of the oval in Laurel Hall. So we're not too far from Gibbons for those who are in the Academic Advancement Center. I'm sorry about that. It totally stopped sharing my screen. I had a few more things to show you. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Okay. For this fall, I just wanted to highlight two programs that are coming up, and I'm going to share these in the chat when we're done. We have a Conversation Partners program that we're launching for this fall. So Conversation Partners is an opportunity for domestic CSU students to be paired with an international CSU student for biweekly conversation, either in person or virtual, whatever you and your pair that you're assigned with decide. So the Conversation Partners program, we think it's a really neat way in this time when we're not able to cross borders as easily because of the global pandemic to connect with someone from abroad who's here at CSU, who might also need some connection. So I'm going to put some information in the chat. So if you're interested in that, the deadline to express interest is this coming Friday, the 25th. And then also in international programs this semester, we're hosting monthly virtual trivia nights. Our next one is coming up on October 13th. They last for about 2 hours. We have students from, it's all CSU students or community members in Fort Collins, but folks are really all over the world. Right now with the pandemic, a lot of international students weren't able to get back to CSU. So they're taking online classes through CSU, but from India or South Africa. So that's a pretty neat way to connect with folks. And lastly, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening with my computer. I just want to highlight who is on this team with you. So as Ricky mentioned earlier, we have 4 partners working together to support and facilitate this experience for you. So we have the Community for Excellence, the Academic Advancement Center, Office of Financial Aid, and Education Abroad Office. So we're here to assist. Our contact information is here. Our contact information is also on our website. So I'm going to stop sharing my slides, and I see that we have some questions from everybody. So I can answer a few questions that I saw come through. So there was a question about language barriers, and that's a really valid question. So if you're going to a country where English isn't widely spoken, it's best to start to become conversational in the language. And it really depends on the program that you're going on and the place in the world that you're going to. So you would talk with your Education Abroad coordinator and say, you know, I'm really interested in Vietnam, but I haven't learned to speak Vietnamese. If I were to go on this program in Vietnam, would the conversational Vietnamese class be enough to kind of get me going? And generally it would. So every program that's in a country with a second language, you're going to be able to take conversational English or conversational language in the host culture and really kind of get going, and you'll be able to practice it all the time. And then we had a question about how many recipients are there for the Global Access Award. So our awards are about $3,000. So as long as the Education Abroad program is at least $3,000 and you as the student have enough need for $3,000, then you'll likely receive a $3,000 award. And the fund of money that we have is about $160,000. So you can do the math to sort of figure out how many awards that we have. So we have an allotment of awards for each semester, and we try to be fair with the way we award the awards. So there is a committee of folks reviewing applications and being thoughtful about who receives these awards. So another question, when we meet with Education Abroad, does it have to be with a specific person? So no, we do have general advising. So if you're not sure what region of the world or which program you want to go on, that is completely fine, and that is quite normal for a lot of students' first visit to the office. So when you go to navigate and you're looking at your options of type of appointment, rather than selecting a region of the world, one of the options is going to be general education abroad advising. And if you select that, then you'll be given the option of a couple different people to choose from. And it doesn't matter who you choose, we're all able to speak to you about general advising. You would just want to select the person who has available time when you're available. These are all really great questions. Thank you so much for asking them. Okay, if we have an idea of when we want to go abroad, how far in advance should we meet with Education Abroad? So we encourage students to plan ideally 6 to 12 months out. So if you had enough time, you would want to start planning 12 months in advance. That would be the best. If it's already kind of bumping up against 12 months, if we're at 9 months now, like let's say you want to go abroad next fall, now would be a really great time to start planning for next fall. Now is also a great time to plan for summer. It would be too late right now for spring.
It looks like Kelly has a question.
Yeah, I missed Kelly's question. Could someone read that?
She just had her hand raised. Kelly, if you want to come
up,
unmute and ask your question.
It's not working. Con las señas. Okay.
I can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah, hi,
it's
Kelly.
My computer's glitching and it's telling me I'm muted, but I guess I'm not muted. I just have a quick question about the Common App. When is it due?
So it has 4 application deadlines based on the semester or break that you want to go abroad.
All right. So when would it be due for a summer 2021?
March 1st.
March 1st. Okay. And then that would be the same deadline for the Global Access Award, or yeah. Okay.
For the EA Common Scholarship application. And then you also have to have your 2 meetings, and those need to be done by February 15th.
Okay. All right.
Good question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.
I have a quick question too.
Hi.
When will all this study abroad, is it all the way to 2021? Is there going to be anything for, oh no, you said it was spring 2021 that we were studying abroad, right? When supposedly, I don't know how to explain it, sorry. I got lost because I got confused. So since, is there going to be any study abroad next year with everything that's going on? I guess I should ask.
Yeah, if I had a crystal ball, I would tell you.
So we're not sure. Okay.
Yeah. So At this point, we have maybe a very small amount of winter break students who are still hoping to go abroad, like maybe a handful. And we do have some students who are hopeful for spring. Those students also have to do an extra petition process to explain how they're going to stay healthy and safe abroad. And that's why, if you haven't already started planning to go abroad, we're encouraging you to plan for summer 21 and forward. Now, you might even say to yourself, gosh, this still feels so uncertain, and I kind of have enough time. You know, maybe I'm a freshman or a sophomore, and I want to go abroad in the summer. Maybe I'm going to wait not for summer 21, but for summer 22. You know, a lot of it has to do with our own personal risk tolerance and how well we deal with living with uncertainty. Okay. And I know that we're all getting pretty accustomed to living with uncertainty in this time. And this is just another area where there's a lot of uncertainty.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Brianna. These are all really great questions. I'm so glad you're here. Michaela has her hand raised. Do you have a question?
I do. So like I was reminded now that the pandemic, is it just like, are the number of people going like limited? Like there's only like there's like a less amount of people able to study abroad?
It's not based on a number.
It's just
not, yeah, it's not like we're saying only 10 people can go abroad in winter, or, you know, only 15 in spring. It's really based on the country that the student wants to go to. Will that country allow US citizens to enter? Many countries are not allowing US citizens to enter because of the rapid transmission of COVID-19 in the US.
So does that limit the programs that we're able to take?
It does. It does. So some CSU programs for spring are already canceled. Some summer programs a while, like months ago, even decided, you know what, we're just going to take summer 21 off and we'll look at summer 22. The same thing with some winter break programs. And then we have a lot of affiliate organizations that we work with to provide education abroad opportunities for students. And those affiliate organizations are deciding, you know, country by country, whether or not it's healthy and safe to host a program in that country. And then, you know, if you are able to go abroad, and if we're still living in these COVID times, the experience of being abroad might be a closer to home kind of experience, closer to your host home experience. So for example, some students who went to Europe, one reason, because there's so many countries close by and the rail system is so efficient. And that may not be how things are going to work moving forward. So if you choose to go to Europe and you're able to go in spring 21 or summer 21, you might be staying in your host country and kind of staying close to your host city and not traveling, not crossing any borders while you're abroad. We just have to see how things are working with the virus and how the virus works with us.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to put some information in the chat about those two opportunities I spoke of earlier, the trivia night and conversation partners. So it's a great way to get involved with international students at CSU while being at CSU.
Looks like we have a couple minutes left. If folks have any other questions that are kind of floating around, you're wondering about, Kayla, do you have one?
Mine's more about like, so I don't have a passport and I don't know the process to get one. Like, does it cost a lot of money to get one, or what?
It's a good question. Application fee is $145 for a first-time adult passport. And then it's generally $10 to get your picture taken. And there is the option to pay expedited fees if you need to get it faster, and that's $35. What's important for you to know now is that passport processing is really delayed because of the pandemic. So passport acceptance facilities like ours is closed. So there's one less place for folks to be able to submit passport acceptance documents. So if you're applying for a passport for the first time, you have to go in person. It is an in-person process because they have to, the passport acceptance, the passport acceptor has to validate your identity. So you have to show a driver's license or show a passport, a previous passport if you were doing a renewal. So you do have to go in person. That in-person aspect is what is fraught in times of COVID, that it's harder for us to be in person. So since you don't have a passport, I would encourage you to start sooner rather than later in application for that. And if you go to our website, we have all the details of what you would need to know in order to submit your passport. And I only wish that we were open to accept your passport. It's been great to help CSU students and the whole community apply for passports and kind of be there as a friendly face in the process. But there are passport acceptance facilities here in Fort Collins. There's one on House Street. It's the Federal Building that has the post office. And then there's also one on Boardwalk. And there are passport acceptance facilities in Denver if you're down that way.
So the soonest semester time, do you think that I'd be able to, if I like applied tomorrow for like my passport or started the application process, could I make it by the summer?
More than likely, yeah.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
cool, that's good news.
Yeah, in normal processing time, we would tell students 6 to 8 weeks. That's normal processing.
Oh.
So for a passport.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, it was 6 to 8 weeks.
All right, well, thank you.
I think now the general advice is 3 to 4 months. So 12 to 16 weeks. So kind of double what it was before. But I wouldn't delay. If you're interested in getting a passport, I'd go for it.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I just want to stay cognizant of everybody's time. We're a little after 5. If we have any last questions, I will stay around. I'm sure Ricky will stay around. I bet Cindy would. Any of the committee members would stick around if you have questions. But if there aren't any more questions, and if no other committee members have anything to share, then I'm going to say thank you so much for your time and your interest and your enthusiasm, your willingness to engage and be interested in going abroad. I'm excited for all of you. Thanks for coming tonight, and let us know if we can be of any help.
I just want to say thank you too for the presentation, as always, full of information.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Ricky.
You bet, yeah, thanks.
Ricky.
We are going to try and get this recording up on our YouTube channel, so folks just kind of take note. We'll let you know when it's up there.
Awesome. Well, thanks
everybody. Be sure to submit your CLF evaluation.
Yeah, thank you. Cool.
Awesome.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy these last days of summer in fall. Bye-bye.